Cardinals came out of the gate hot. We ended up leading this game 17-3. They lose the game overall in Buffalo. A little bit of a heartbreaker for them because they were sort of right there and they could have kind of captured this one on the road. Really started the season strong. But he got a 69.3 passing grade. He was 21 for 31, just 162 yards. He had one big-time throw, one turnover-worthy play. What did you think about Murray in this past game, and then just overall sort of what you think about him? Because, man, you know, we've talked about this a couple of times. Last fully healthy season he had was an incredible MVP-worthy type of a year. And then the next year, first half of that season, okay, he wasn't playing as well, tears the ACL. Last year he misses half of the season rehabbing, so he kind of comes back. But this now is the first real year, full off season, fully healthy. The team's getting a little bit better, where we could start to see what the ceiling of Kyler Murray is. So what did you think about his performance versus the Bills and how it hints at what Murray's ceiling could be now coming off of that injury after a fully healthy offseason?
Yeah, I think, you know, when you talk about him being an MVP candidate for big stretches of his career at this point, and the fact that we're underrating him, we're not talking about him as much, I'm ready to jump on the bandwagon. I think I started this offseason when I was thinking about it, and I love what they do on offense in general. When I watched them with some of the backup quarterbacks that had to play for them early in the season, you saw some really good things that they were doing. I think the offensive coordinator's name is Drew Petzing. Mm-hmm. I really like what he was doing. And then when Kyler comes back, this is a top unit, right? Kyler in the second half of the season, the last 8 games or whatever it was, like they were putting together a lot of points and a lot of scoring drives. So I think there was a lot to like going into it. You add a player with the ceiling that Marvin Harrison Jr. has. So you're thinking, I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, but, you know, if you're a betting person, you know, looking at their, in the preseason now, looking at their, you know, betting them like over wins or stuff like that, or things of that nature, Kyler Murray comeback player of the year type thing. And we're getting him in an offense that's not run by Cliff Kingsbury. Like, I think that's important.
Very key. Very key. Although he was an MVP candidate for an offense that was run by Cliff Kingsbury.
So much of the Cliff offense is one-on-ones, right? Like, can my great player just win one-on-ones? Can DeAndre Hopkins just win a lot of one-on-ones on the outside? And they did that because they had 2 singular players, really, in that offense back in the day, which was DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray. Now you're in a situation where, okay, the offensive coordinator can help you with some easy buttons. And we saw it last year. We saw it a bit this year, and already this year, though I would even say, like, the Bills defense did some really good things. Like, this is a defense that we're not really sure about in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. But Sean McDermott was on it, really doing some stuff that you don't really see the Bills do a lot in terms of disguising coverages. And it kind of messed with them, and the Cardinals didn't have a lot of explosive plays. They really couldn't get a lot of guys open down the field.
No.
Minus like the bust in coverage that could have led to the game-winning touchdown to Marvin Harrison. I don't really blame Kyler for that, because I think Cam Lewis, the nickel, is like jumping right when. Anyways, you can't. I don't think you could really see Marvin Harrison until it was too late. But so, like, even with all that said, like they couldn't really do a good job of getting guys open down the field, even though I just said I really like the OC. Marvin Harrison, you know, well, he'll be fine, but it wasn't his best game. Did have a wide open drop, can get a lot of separation.
Right.
But they still move the ball pretty well in spite of all that. Greg Dortch is a good player. Michael Wilson's a good player. James Conner's a good player. Offensive line has a chance to gel.
There. Yeah.
So I think there's a really good chance that this offense scores a lot of points. And I don't think he'll be in the MVP discussion, because the defense is also going to allow a lot of points, which is the issue for, you know, wins and losses and MVP votes. But I really like this idea of Kyler Murray in this offense. He's still a young player, and as they grow with Gannon as the head coach and Petzing as the OC, I like what I've seen in the last half of last year and a little bit of this year so far.
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting game for Murray because I think that he played well. I don't think he trusts his receivers right now. I really don't. And when I watched it, that is sort of what I came away with. And there's reason to believe so. Like I'm excited about Michael Wilson as well, but still, he's a second-year breakout candidate. It's not like he's Justin Jefferson. Marvin Harrison Jr., for as talented as he is, he's a rookie. And I thought that Harrison Jr. sort of struggled to get off of contact, whether it was press coverage or when he got down the field. He was good at finding stuff. Yeah. What'd you say?
Yeah. When he got to his break point, yeah.
Yes, yeah. No, I thought that he struggled to get off. There were a couple of times when, one time I'm thinking in particular where he created the most separation, it was basically OPI. Like if they threw the ball to him, his hands were fully extended and he totally pushed off. So other than that, he was struggling to sort of separate at the break point. And I think it's not like that would have been independent of probably what they saw in practice. And I think the reason why Harrison just didn't get a lot of targets is because that's kind of probably what Kyler was thinking when he went into the game. He looked Marvin Harrison Jr.'s way a little bit, but he was either covered, not creating separation, whatever. You look at Kyler, 1 for 7 yesterday against the Bills on passes, any passes at any point in the field, whether it was outside the numbers, inside the numbers, beyond 10 yards. He only attempted 7 passes beyond 10 yards. So he really was not looking to push the ball deep down the field. I just did a quick search for two-man, cover 2, quarters, anything that had like not anything, but just those that had like those 2 deep safety looks. The Bills ran the 8th most coverages in week 1 of that. So like they were clearly like trying to stay back anyways, try to keep things in front of them. They didn't want anything to get over the top. And I think their game plan worked really, really well. Obviously, it was able to keep the Cardinals offense in check. They didn't have a lot of explosives, but to me, I still saw a pretty confident Kyler Murray. I still saw somebody who is one of the higher talent quarterbacks in the NFL, one that I think could play really well. I just think it's going to take a little bit of time. And for the offense to put up enough points that they did to make this game competitive down the stretch without hitting really any explosives at all, I think is a testament to just how good this offense could potentially be. But I'm right there with you with Murray. When I watched him this past game, the takeaway for me is he just doesn't trust his receivers yet. And once he does, then we'll be talking about an offense that could really be cooking, because I think that he played really, really well in that game. Any final Kyler thoughts before we get on to our next guy?
No, and then you just add that he still has the ability to get outside the pocket when it's not there, and he created some first downs scrambling. He created a first down on a zone read, like a design QB run, but still like getting outside the pocket and creating a first down with his legs. So you're always going to have that with Kyler Murray. I think that Connor looked good, to be honest. Like, the running game could be good. The offensive line is going to be an issue, but like the running game has a chance to be good as well. Again, the numbers kind of don't back it up. Like we're saying, like 69 passing grade. In general, like the EPA per play was okay, but I think there's a lot to like. Do we know how good this Bills defense is going to be? I don't know, but a lot to like.
The EPA per play in the first half, though, was like nuclear. Like, it was crazy. They were, whether it was running the ball, passing the ball, whatever, even without explosives, the EPA per play was awesome. Now, in the second half, it was equally as bad as it was. I'm pretty sure the EPA in the first half was like 0.60 something when passing, which is incredibly high. And then in the second half, it was like negative 0.6 something. So it all kind of like came together and was average. But I mean, you look at what this offense could be. Maybe we're doing rose-colored glasses, but I agree with you. I think this offense could be fun. I think Kyler's a good one.